Hi, it's Wesley with Expandacraft here, and we're here with my friend John.
Hello.
And John has just had me install this Outrigger on his kayak. What year and type?
This is 2018 Hobby Pro Angler 14.
Pro Angler 14, and so it's the new one.
Not the newest one before.
And I've done a lot of kits before, and this is a how-to video, by the way. We're going to show you how I did the installation. So if you'll come on in a little closer, my camera assistant, you'll notice that we have some screws right here. Underneath here are some little angles. They're screwed to the gunnel or the side wall of the kayak here. And what we did is we made it to where the pedals, even on their farthest reach, don't hit that. And also the mast base slot is still open. So it's just perfect right there until Hobie changes something on me. Speaking of changing, and I want to come on here. We did something a little different with this one. This is the first time I've had this. There wasn't a place to put the angle. Normally there is a flat spot, and we put angles. If you'll shoot straight down, you'll see this flange. That's an angle flange. Usually we can put one on either side, but this time they changed up. They've got this. So we made this aluminum plate that actually has a bend in it right here at the 50-50 mark, a slight bend, and then of course you just unscrew these, one on either side, and you can take this off in just a matter of minutes. So that helps you take it apart quickly. Anyway, we use these special rivets. These rivets open up like a flange in the back, not just your normal mushing rivets, but they open up like a toggle bolt. Now, come on over here. I'm going to show you something about the decking. You come around this way. I made this. This is a straight upright motor mount, very stout. And watch, I'm going to bring this up. Underneath, you have these blocks. We call those bunks, and the bunks sit in between so that it holds it in place this direction. Then we use the straps to hold it down. Once he figures out where he wants his decks to be, he'll just put a little screw hole here and here, and that'll keep it from moving around this way. And the strap's pretty stout as well. End caps. And we put wood on either side of this, which is the structural part. And you'll notice too that this one has metal flanges here, so that's a very, very stout connection. The wood is so that the motor has something to grip to. The plastic's too slippery. There we go. I'll show you a trick here. The order in which you do things when you put your Expandacraft kit on your kayak is you want to find out where your cross tubes are going to be. In the Hobie, they have to be farther away than the Expandacraft mounting points are. So we have to use these, which are called runners. See? And so that the runners reach all the way from it's almost 5.5 feet from here to there. So that way you can take this hull and you can have it forward or backwards depending on your kayak and where you keep the weight. He tends to have a lot of weight in the back, so we move this one farther back than some of the other installations. Now, how do you make sure that it's square? Buy yourself a square.
Or borrow one from your neighbor.
Or borrow one from your neighbor. Anyway, you can take this and sight it right down the middle. And so once you've got that square, then you shoot one screw. Shoot that one screw. Then you make sure that it's square. And then you're going to shoot this second screw. Remember, this is not what holds this. There is an angle underneath this, a flange, that it goes to the side of the boat. You may be able to see it down there. Can you see it from that angle? That's the flange that is attached to the Hobie here. Well, anyway, you get that good and square, and then you can start on the back one. Now, I'm going to go to the back. On this particular Hobie, it's easy to square the back one because we have that ridge line here, and because we had to put those plates on. This one was already square. And what you do to make sure that you align, I'm going to take this deck off. Once you set these in place, you have to make sure that this and this is still on the center line of your boat. So going back to your T-square, you put one of these runner rails before you even put the bolts and everything together. Just put a rail with it balanced right there, and then again right here, and use your T-square to make sure that it's lined up. When it's lined up, then you know that you've got your width the way you want it. Because you'll go to the back of the boat. The front part of the boat is skinnier than the back part. So this is a little shorter than the back one. So we chopped it off and made it nice and neat and tidy and put caps on the end of it. But you can't just line it up here and eyeball it. You have to square it. That's pretty much it. You just have to be really particular about where you're placing things and making sure that you don't screw something down before you've got it square. This one we got a little creative with it. It took a little longer than normal. It was 3 hours and something to do this one. But that's probably what you want to do, is plan an afternoon to put your kit together. And come over here, one more thing. Every client is different. The quick release pins are here, so you can take the hull completely off of the rack. But this client has chosen to leave this all together. So all he's going to do is unbolt these four, and because he has a big truck, he's just going to take these off and put it in the back of his pickup sideways and hold. And of course just take the decks off. But you can also put quick release on the runners. His is just bolted down. But if you put the quick release on the runners, then you can take those off and leave these permanently attached to the risers. That's the riser, the hull, the runner, the cross tube. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's not a whole lot to the installation, except that you have to be, careful to make things square. What I do with the bunks is I'll drill a 1/4-inch hole, and I'll take a square, and I'll drill that 1/4-inch hole just a little ways away from here, and that's where you put the block. So I'll put the hole in there, nice and tight. I put the hole in there. I reach underneath, make a mark, pre-drill a small hole in the wood, put it up underneath there, drill the screw down into the wood. Always drill a pilot hole. Then come back and drill the other hole. Don't try to drill them both at the same time. And that's how you install the bunks. That's it. That's pretty much all the instruction you really need. You just have to be careful and square it up. Expandacraft.com. Give us a call.